Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and this is Matt. This is another episode of Off the Cuff. Oh, you did it again. It's just
I'm
gonna be
getting
a thing.
good, man.
Eventually, I'll stop calling it out, but I do like this.
I'm gonna
That's
stop
what
it.
the interest. But don't stop when you feel like stopping.
I feel like stopping now.
Okay, from now on, you'll never see that motion again. I have to do it myself. So this question pertains to something. It's very cyclical in life, I think, and maybe you can shed some light on it because I feel like you're industrious, and I'll stop feeding you words. But
I'm 99th percentile industrious.
I don't even know what scale he's talking
On
about.
the
as
Big
far
Five personality scale.
as Big Five personality.
We'll get on that later. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. How do you go about being single? And what I mean by that is some people, and I've fell victim to this, if you're out of a relationship, you kind of lose sometimes a sense of, I won't say purpose necessarily, but like you fall into a ritual of there's someone that you're with all the time, and you're trying to build something with them, and then that goes away. So how do you go back to being single and doing that successfully is a good way to do it, or industriously?
The amount of times that I've come out of a relationship is nothing short of embarrassing. And so I've handled this situation just about any way you can think of.
Another reason I ask, because you
Yeah.
have experience.
If I've been very deeply in love with somebody, I handle it very poorly. So I can maybe speak to that a little bit. And then, of course, then the opposite of that is if I don't really care as much, if it's just someone who I was kind of dating casually, I'm able to handle it a little better. So I'll give a more clear example. Usually what happens after I'm done whining about it, when I've been deeply in love with
So
someone.
who do you whine to? Is it just to yourself?
To myself.
Okay.
I'm very, very
Do you write it
careful.
down in a journal?
No,
or
no.
anything? Okay.
I don't let people know I'm hurting. I don't let people know I'm sad. At least I try not to.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell because I'm actually really an extroverted person. But when I'm in a mood like that, I'm very quiet and I kind of keep to myself, and people can tell. Especially like Stephanie that works with us. She'll always kind of like notice.
I can't tell because I'm a bad friend.
Yeah, because you don't care about me. But but the way that I've found to get over a really bad breakup, like a heartbreaking breakup, is to just really dive into something else that you find meaningful. For one, when I started that furniture company, the whole reason that I really did that was to get my mind off of someone who I just broken up with her. We broke up with each other, and it was a mess. But
It was mutual, okay?
yeah, it wasn't. Well, that's a long story. But
Sorry.
long story long. But yeah, so for me, when I'm dealing with something like that, the best thing for me is to try and to find something meaningful to do, but also to learning a little bit about personality and people's individual differences has helped me in that way. Because what happens usually when you're in a breakup is that you have this expectation that you're going to be with this person. You have some goal that you're going to stay with them. And then when you don't get that, you experience negative emotion. And so then what you have to do, especially if you have a personality like mine, is you end up going back and driving yourself crazy trying to analyze every single thing that you
Like
ever
what you
did
did
or said.
wrong, and why did that lead to
Right.
this?
So that you cannot do that again, you know. And there's a reason for that. It's biological. It's good that you do that. But
And some of it's appropriate.
yeah, well, it's completely appropriate. If you fall in a pit, you want to know how to not fall in a pit again. But just knowing that that's the course, that I just have to kind of figure out what it is so that I can come up with a strategy to prevent that from happening again. That's also very helpful for me. Also, just realizing that it's really hard to keep a relationship together. It's two people trying to push their life together in a way that it's just really difficult. You know, people are different, and
Timing has to be right.
communication is key. Honesty is key. Having the same goals is key. And then being
There's a lot of things that can make a relationship not work, and I think the vast amount of time, and I won't say the majority, but a good amount of people's life is being by yourself.
yeah.
So you have to learn how to make that okay.
See, I'm really also, what's odd is that even though I'm highly extroverted, I'm also extremely disagreeable. And so I don't even mind being alone. I enjoy, shut up. I enjoy time alone. I don't have a problem being alone. I'm not the sort of person that runs from my thoughts, so I don't have to try not to be alone ever. So I can be alone. It doesn't bother me too much.
I'll tell you one way I handle a breakup.
Okay, hit me.
I write a bunch of very mediocre music.
Is that right?
And no one ever gets to hear it because it's so mediocre in my mind. I might let you hear it after my next bad breakup.
Hopefully you won't have another one.
I'm just saying if it does,
I'm
I'll
just
let you hear
like
someone.
I have this dream that our next, we're both single. I'm hoping that your next relationship.
Matt also sells furniture since we're advertising things now.
We're advertising. I'm hoping that your next one will be the one.
I appreciate that, and I would like for that to happen.
It probably won't be because
Statistically,
you are how you are. But
that's right. That's it.
I'm kidding. But yeah.
Well, but that's a coping thing. It gives me kind of like you delving into creating something. I'm also creating something, maybe not as tangible
Right.
necessarily, but that's one thing that's always helped me through is doing music and keeping your mind off something and like breaking up. Not that it was super serious, but a breakup during law school like put me into focus to do well in law school.
Yeah, yeah.
So that became something to do. Grades,
Harness that
a fixation.
yeah, push towards something.
And then you
meaningful.
talked about how you handled more casual, and so I feel like it's
Oh
a
yeah,
lot
just
different.
just to comment on. Oh, so I don't want to move on from this right yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Bring
keep
it
it quick.
back.
I'm gonna keep it quick.
You don't have to keep it anything. That we can talk forever.
I think that a combination of both of those things is the way to go. You're going to want to find something meaningful to do to get your mind off of it when you need a break, but you also shouldn't just bury it. If you guys split up, there's a reason for it, and you should try to figure out what it is. There's a good chance it's you. If it's not you, it could have been them, but definitely look at things that you're doing and try to look at things from other people's perspectives. It's incredibly valuable to take other people's...
The multiple perspective things is incredibly valuable. Tough to do.
It's hard
Because
to do.
you're
It's not hard
trying
to
to
do.
separate yourself from yourself.
Well, you need to do that. You need to be cognizant of how you're behaving in the world, because you need to ask yourself, what is it that I did to cause this? Because maybe it's something you did, maybe it's not, but you'll never know that if you never ask that question. But don't beat yourself up over it. I think you should, like Jeff said, find something meaningful and purposeful to do to get your mind off of it when you do need a break from that, because you very easily can drive yourself crazy. But if you're a person like me, your brain's not going to let you move on from it until you figured out what it is that went wrong. And maybe it's just that you're temperamentally, misaligned, because that happens all the time too. But anyway, I don't want to focus on that too much anymore. The other thing,
and also if it stays for an exceedingly long time, and we're talking about just your very standard breakup, so there's different circumstances that make things more serious. But if you're feeling that way for an extremely long time, it's probably not bad to find a confidant of some sort.
Mhm.
Either it's a good friend or
the clinical
family
timeline
member.
is 18 months.
Okay.
If you think about any event in your life, this isn't just a breakup, any negative event, if you think about it after it happened 18 months ago and it still causes you negative emotion, then you haven't dealt with the problem, and you might even consider seeing a therapist. We probably should do a whole video on mental health, because that's another thing I think it's coming more into focus these days. People are starting to take it more seriously.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we could
I just know not to couch it in terms of myself, but I bottle things up for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's probably not the most healthy thing to do, but I hadn't heard the 18 month thing.
Mhm. 18 months is
I learned something today.
yeah. Jordan Peterson, thanks, man.
Okay.
Saved my life. But the other one is just, if it was casual, I don't care at all, because that's just how I am. But I don't really date casually, so that rarely happens.
That's
but
right.
It's happened a few times.
Going back to episode whatever.
Well, yeah, one of the other ones. I don't really date casually very often, and so that's not something that happens to me very much. But for that, it's just real easy. I just don't care, so I keep making videos with my friend and playing music and whatever.
That's right. So I have some mediocre music to share with Matt at some point that maybe will matriculate its way out here.
Maybe there's a link in the description.
Not to that anytime
Oh
soon.
man,
It's
I tried. I'm sorry. Maybe next time.
Tell me if you want to hear either a guitar song or piano song, because I have both. One's positive, one's negative. Let me know which instrument you prefer, and I'll get that out there at some point. But also, thanks for tuning in, and I feel like this was really productive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, comment, subscribe. I feel like I have to throw that tagline in. But also, send us your questions, because we love talking about this stuff. And whether or not anybody watches, we'll keep doing it. But the fact that people have watched and have cared at all,
It really means a lot.
that's exactly
It
right.
really means a lot to us.
So thanks for joining in to Off the Cuff, because I'll do. Oh, you did it again.
Last one.
That's right. All right. Thank you all.